Over the last 10 years, I have spent more than 1 crore rupees paying rent. And I'm not stopping now. What if I told you, as a multi-millionaire entrepreneur, I could write a check for a 5 crore house right now without taking a loan? But I would never do it. In this video, I'm gonna prove to you why buying a house in 2025 is the worst financial mistake of your life, how I was able to get 3 times more money by renting instead of buying a house. That's right, renting can make you richer, and I will show you how. So stick around till the end, because I'm also gonna give you my exact checklist for when buying a house actually makes sense. But first, let's compare India with the rest of the world. What if I told you that India has the most expensive real estate in the world, averaging at 15 to 20 times our annual income? Globally, 5 times the annual income is considered as affordable. So think about this for a second. Remember when you're traveling abroad and you're looking for a water bottle and you discover that it costs 200 rupees. Are you gonna buy it? Absolutely not, because you know that the same water bottle of Bisleri in India costs you only 20 rupees. Same logic. If land in India is 3 to 4 times more expensive than the same land in the United States, income adjusted, then you are the idiot for buying it. Yes, your parents did become rich by buying a house, but that was 30 years ago. Today's India is very different. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying never buy a house. I'd probably buy a house as well in the future. All I'm saying is, do not commit financial suicide while you're buying one. But Sharan, Nikhil Kamath just bought a house. Shut the hell up. He's a freaking billionaire. For him, buying a house is buying a Lay's packet for you. Ask yourself, have you actually done the math before buying a house? Are you aware of all the hidden costs? So before you sign the next 20 years of your life trying to pay 1 crore rupees as a corporate slave, please watch till the end. Let's start with the first argument that people have. You can never lose money when buying a house because house prices always go up. Really? Let's take an example. Let's say you bought a 1 crore house. What if I told you that within the first year, you're going to lose 20 lakh rupees? Let me tell you how. Stamp duty and registration charges, 6 to 7 lakh rupees. Brokerage charges, 1 to 2 lakh rupees. That first year EMI, a whopping 8.3 lakh rupees, out of which 6.7 lakhs is interest. So even if the house value goes up by 10%, you're going to lose a lot more money than that. In fact, you end up paying 2 crore rupees in EMIs to the bank to buy that 1 crore house. So when people tell me, I bought a house because I don't like paying rent, what they're actually saying is that I bought a house because I want to pay 2 times more rent to the bank. Second argument. But Sharan, I know a lot of people who became rich in real estate. Let's take the previous example again. Let's say you bought that 1 crore house. 20 years later, assuming that it grows at 7% every year, you're going to be sitting on a 4 crore house. At first instance, it looks like you've hit a jackpot. But let's dig deeper. After accounting for a 6% inflation, the value of your house is actually 1 crore 22 lakh rupees. Now, after you consider the interest expenses, taxes, brokerage, stamp duty and registration fees, you're actually sitting on a big fat loss. So who is actually making the money and becoming rich in real estate? The builders and the investors who actually sold you the house. The only way to make money in real estate is if you buy with leverage and sell it within 3 to 4 years. Let me give you an example. That 1 crore house, you only need 20 lakhs of upfront capital to buy it. The remaining 80 lakhs will be given to you by the bank. If you sell it 5 years later for 1.5 crores, you're sitting on a 50 lakh profit. After accounting for the interest expenses and other transaction charges, you could be sitting on a 40 lakh profit. 40 lakh profit on a 20 lakh capital investment. That is a 100% return on your capital in just 5 years. That is as good as the best stock market investors. But how many of you all are actually doing this? 99% of you just buy a house and live in it for the rest of your life. If 70 to 80% of your net worth is going to grow at 7% every year, how the hell are you actually going to be rich? Because inflation is itself at 6%. Now let's get to the third argument. Renting is like wasting money. Let's take the same example again. 1 crore house. You have 2 options, buy it or rent it. Let's start with option 1. You put a down payment of 20 lakhs. You take an 80 lakh loan from the bank at 8.5% interest rate, and your house appreciates at 7% every year for the next 20 years. You will end up with a house of a whopping 4 crore rupees. you end up with a profit of 3 crore rupees. Sounds amazing, right? But not so fast. Let's dig deeper. You paid around 90 lakhs in interest to the bank. You spent around 10 lakh rupees in stamp duty, registration fees and other transaction cost. You spent at least 20 lakh rupees on home maintenance and repair, bringing the total cost of ownership to 2.2 crore rupees, bringing down your actual profit to only 1.8 crore rupees. Now let's look at the second option, rent and invest. That same 1 crore house, if you were to rent it, would cost you 25,000 rupees per month, assuming a 3% rental yield, which is the Indian average. The total rent that you'll be paying for the next 20 years is a whopping 1.5 crores. On first instance, it looks like you wasted a lot of money until you see how your savings has grown. Firstly, you do not have to give 20 freaking lakhs to the bank. That 20 lakhs invested over 20 years. Let's do the math. The Indian market has given a 15% CAGR in the last 20 years. Some of the best performing mutual funds in India has given 18% CAGR. But let's say you're an idiot and you underperform the market and get only 12% CAGR. That 20 lakhs down payment ends up becoming 2 crore rupees. The EMI savings that you're going to do for the next 20 years when invested in the market ends up becoming 2.6 crore rupees. That's a total of 4.6 crore rupees. Final profit, 3.1 crore rupees. So staying on rent is better by 1.3 crore rupees if you are an idiot investor. But if I assume, let's say 15% returns, which is what the Nifty average has been, you're going to be better off by 4.2 crore rupees. And if you're a pro investor who can generate 18 to 20% CAGR, then you're going to have an extra 8.5 crore rupees. Just for your information, guys, the late Rakesh Jhunjhunwala was able to generate 62% CAGR over the last 4 decades. I'm not asking you to be Rakesh Jhunjhunwala. All I'm asking you to learn about investing and be at least 25% as good as him. Now, I'm sure a lot of people must be wondering, but Sharan, taxes tera baap bharega kya? What if I told you that if you decide to buy a house 20 years later with that stock market profit, you will be paying 0 taxes as per section 54F. How about that? Guys, I'm not here to give you my gyan. All I'm here is to show you mathematical facts and let you make that decision for yourself. If you do decide to buy a house, in spite of seeing all of these numbers, then by all means go ahead and buy it, because now you're making an informed decision. But 99% of you won't do this simple mathematics before making the most important financial decision of your life. So when does it actually make sense to buy a house? Rule number 1. The EMI should not be more than 30% of your monthly in-hand income. Let's take that same example. 1 crore house, monthly EMI comes to 80,000 rupees per month, which means your monthly post-tax income should be at least 2.4 lakhs, meaning an annual income of 30 lakhs per annum. If you don't make that much, then you cannot afford that 1 crore house. You can still go ahead and buy it because banks will sanction the loan. But you're putting yourself in financial trouble because you won't have enough money left over to save up for your kids' education, your kids' wedding, and your own retirement, each of which cost crores of rupees. Rule number 2. You need to have saved at least 20% of the value of the house as down payment. So for a 1 crore house, if you do not have 20 lakhs saved in your bank account, then please don't buy it. Most of us buy a house as soon as we get married in our early 30s. And to have 20 lakhs saved in a bank account, you should have saved at least 30 lakhs after paying the taxes to Nirmala ma'am. Rule number 3. You need to have saved an additional 2 years worth of home loan EMIs as an emergency fund in case you lose your job to AI or you need to invest in home maintenance. So that's an additional 20 lakh rupees. And rule number 4. You need to be okay with the value of your house going down. That's right. House prices can also fluctuate by as much as 20 to 30% in a given year. So this is what an informed house purchase decision looks like. So I'm buying a 1 crore house. And I know that this is not an investment because there are better ways to grow my money. I have 20 lakhs saved to pay for the home loan down payment. I have an additional 20 lakhs saved up to pay for 2 years worth of EMIs in case of an emergency. And I have additional savings left over every month to invest for my retirement and my kids' future. As a closing note, please understand that renting is a smarter financial decision compared to buying a house only if you know how to invest your money. If you're going to rent and not invest a single rupee, then please go and buy that goddamn house. Because if you keep renting till you're 50 without having any savings or investments, you're going to be on the streets by the time you're 50. So guys, I hope this was a very informative discussion on how to exactly look at the most important and expensive financial decision of your life. So guys, that brings us to the end of the video. I hope this was informative and given you a fresh perspective on how to think about the most important financial decision of your life. If you do not agree with some of the things that I've said, I would love to hear from you in the comment section below. And I would also love to know what are the future topics that you would want me to talk about in my upcoming video. On that note, I will see you in the next one.